What's up, Internet? Welcome to Season 2, Episode, I believe, 6 of War Table Podcast with me, O'Neal Johnson, a.k.a. Dad of War, with my co-host, Quiet Boy Girl. How you doing today?
I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Still a little tired, but baby's sleeping a little bit better. Not where we want him to be, but we're getting there, so life's getting a bit easier slowly. How has your week been? Not actually 2 weeks
Um,
because we had to take last week off. My
yeah,
wife had some things she had to get done, which mean I barely got to stream and couldn't do the podcast last week. So sorry we missed you.
it's been up and down. We it just depends on the day. Especially with like the weather's been crazy here. A few days ago, it was negative 55 with wind chill. It's just kind of like surviving.
Very well. Yeah, it's we got I believe 10 inches of snow last night. So I woke up to my wife saying I have to go to work. You need to go shovel everything. It's not what you want to hear. It's never what you want to hear. Especially because I didn't think it snowed that bad. I thought it was, 3 or 4 inches, whatever, 5 minutes, scoop it up. No, I was out there for like 45 minutes, and I don't have that much to shovel. It's been cold here too, in the grand old Michigan, the Great Lake State.
Yeah, living in Montana for me has been crazy because when I told a friend who lives in Australia negative 55, they assumed the negative was a typo and that I meant like 55 is cold. And I was like, no, it's negative 55 and I
Yeah,
am dying.
yeah. It doesn't get that cold here. I think the coldest I've ever felt in Michigan, at least, was with the wind chill like -30. And
Yeah,
it was like
like I
one time, just once.
yeah, that was like in New York, it's gotten to like, negative 30 wind chill before. I was like, this fucking Montana's like built different.
Yeah. Oof. I don't want to feel that type of cold again. I've only been one place in the world colder than Michigan, and I don't want to go back. Fucking cold as fucking Afghanistan. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, it was funny because like when I went to walk to the gas station when it was negative 55 wind chill, I felt my fucking eyes freezing together. It was like weird. So like, and then one day I got off work, it was like -9 outside, and I was like, wow, this is pretty warm.
Fucking, that's craziness. When you walk outside, it's like -9. Let me put some shorts on, and I feel like I'm a badass when it's like 25 degrees and I go out in like sweatshirt and t-shirt, or I'm sorry, sweatpants and a t-shirt, and people are like, how do you do this? I'm like, I've lived here forever. Like, this isn't that bad. We get -10, 15 all the time, but -55, that is definitely some hitting different type shit, and that is crazy. So besides the crazy weather that apparently the entire United States has been having, because Texas also got blanketed, which is just ridiculous,
It was
ridiculous.
funny because like I have a friend in college who I went to visit when I was down in Texas. He told me they shut down his fucking online classes because of the snow.
Absolutely
Like,
terrible. You don't even have to leave your house.
yeah.
But I was talking with a friend of the show, Jim, recently, and apparently Texas, because of the snow, doesn't have the power to do shit. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense in a sad way. Apparently, when this is all, I haven't fact checked any of this shit because I just haven't had the time. Jim literally just told me this, but apparently, when they were like, "Hey, America, we should all have one power grid," Texas was like, "No, fuck you. We want our own." So it literally became West, East, and Texas grid. Like Texas has its own grid, and apparently this snowfall has fucked their power supply up so bad that they've actually had to like cut people's heat and shit off. So that's kind of sad in a major way. It's like we're fine by ourselves. Oh no, we're not. Please help. And the infrastructure just literally won't allow anyone else to help. Like the rest of the country can't just give them power. So I pray for the coldness that is Texas, because even if it's only like 20 degrees, which isn't shit here, like I will literally go outside in a t-shirt and shorts in 20 degrees, but like, oh, whatever. that's like literal freezing for Texans. Like people
Yeah.
are actually dying out there. So thoughts and prayers out to the people of Texas because it ain't easy in the big state of Texas right now. So that took a turn for the worse. It started off lighthearted. So let's get back to what you all actually came here for. The video games. What have you been playing the past 2 weeks, Kawhi?
So we, Smite, as you know, we had some pretty good games and that some longer games lately. Yesterday especially. Got through a little bit more in Persona 5, but the main game I played earlier today is a racing game called Wreckfest, which feels like a spiritual successor to Flat Out. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before,
Mm-hmm.
but I never like really got a chance to play it. And I started career mode, and the first fucking career mode race it has you do is a demolition derby with lawnmowers. And I'm just gonna hope the lawnmowers were debladed because I ran over a few people.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It ridiculous. The game's great.
So
One race I like hit a corner so hard my suspension broke, my front tire was off, and I think my brakes were fucked. But
this game sounds like madness.
it's great.
Like now, when you say lawnmowers, you mean like actual riding lawnmowers, right? It's not just
Yeah,
some
riding
dude.
lawnmowers.
Okay.
Riding
Because
lawnmowers.
the first thing that popped in my head is some dude running with a push mower. And when you start saying you took a corner so hard, I'm like, if the fucking machine broke, you turned so hard. How's this dude's leg didn't just not snap? Like I just
Nah,
imagine a ragdoll guy just flying,
the
holding onto
the
this
the race
lawnmower.
the race where I hit the wall was like in an actual like car, but and that
Hmm.
was just on like normal like a damage. Like I could just turn that on to like realistic damage, and then it also has intense damage, which I'm assuming if you sneeze on the car, some shit might fall off.
That is bananas. B is for bananas, and that is also for Wreckfest. Ridiculous. And what is this game on? Like, what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on my Xbox One, but it is also on PlayStation.
I might have to check this game out. You talked about it quite. I'm not a big racing fan, but this game just seems ridiculous, and I'm
It's
very
just like
curious to see this
destruction.
intense.
It's like a racing game with like destruction elements. It doesn't have like all the crazy fun like Flat Out 2, because Flat Out 2 had random ass game modes where like you drive a car, then you hit a stop so hard and your character would fly out and you'd knock down like huge bowling pins and do bowling that way. It doesn't have like that kind of crazy, but the first thing it wants you to do is a demolition derby of lawn, like riding lawnmowers. So it still has the ridiculous factor, and I'm all for it.
It's out there, right? It's doing
Yeah.
some craziness. Ridiculous,
But
ridiculous.
it's okay. They're all wearing helmets.
Because that's what makes destruction derbies safe. As long as you got a helmet, you're fine. Nothing can stop you when you got your helmet. Remember that, kids.
But what have you been playing?
That's not how physics works. What have I been playing? So last week I was going. Yeah, we didn't do it last week, so I can talk about it. I played and beat and platinumed Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks. That game was a lot of fun.
Looks wacky as fuck.
It is super duper weird, and if you want no spoilers, you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds to get the hell out of here for the next, like, I'll say, put a Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
Get the hell out of here because I'm not going to go full spoilers, but enough to where if you want to play it, you should leave. Kawhi, is this a game you're going to play, by the way?
Probably not.
Okay. You've
I'm
been
not. I'm not that interested in
very
it.
well. You've been warned, and get the hell out in 3, 2, 1. All right, that game gets really fucking dark and sad quickly. Like really fucking like I was not expecting it. Like everyone thought it'd get a little like spooky, yes, like there'd be a monster or something hunting people because of how they ended the verse trailer. But no, that shit just is sad. depending on your ending. Like if you go through the whole game, everyone realizes that they need to be back in society and they get on the ship and everyone's happy. But if you get the bad ending and you just keep feeding these people bug snacks, literally everyone dies. Like there's a gay couple and they profess their love for each other, or one doesn't know that they're in a relationship. They just thought they were like fuck buddies, right? And he professes like, no, I'm actually in love with you and I want to be in a relationship. And the other guy's like a big like, yo bro type dude. He's like, no, we've been in a relationship for years, man, I love you. And then they died. Like, because my first playthrough I didn't know it, and then they just died in front of my eyes because I fed them both full bug snacks for the trophy. And I'm like, wow. So basically the whole point is bug snacks are a parasite, a literal parasite, and they make themselves tasty so you'll eat them and they can infect your body and take over your being and turn you into a bug snack. And the entire island you're on is just like basically a big fucking bug snack, and they're just there to kill you. And there's a whole bunch of different stories that go along with that, but they just boil down to the way I tried to do it, because I looked at the trophy list and didn't look at the hidden ones, but I knew I needed to feed everybody and make them all, because you can change their entire body: head, ears, horns, teeth, upper arm, lower leg, upper leg, and that's like a full thing. And if you do it, they die. It's craziness.
So, can you go through the whole game without feeding anyone at all, or
no.
is there like, does it require you at certain parts?
It requires you to get, yes, it does require you to feed them, but not all the way. Like I think like the person who requires the most is they get close.
Is it that stupid mayor guy?
One of them. Well, no. Okay. To complete every single side quest, which is another trophy, you basically have to get them right to the point of like no return, right? But the ending portion of the game basically has you fend off certain ones with the tools you've acquired 2 at a time, and if you fuck up defending them, all those bug snacks will eat them and then get turned, so you can lose. But if you don't do any of the side quests and you're competent, because the game is not hard, it's very easy to have them all survive. I had to do a second playthrough for that, which was super duper quick, like literal quick.
So just like don't play most of the game and you'll get the good end.
Yes, don't do any of the side quests and just go through it. Like literally, I spent 10 hours my first playthrough, got most of the trophies that I could. By the way, if you're back here, I'm done with the major spoilers, so feel free to stay. My first playthrough was 10 hours, caught every bug snack, did every side quest, got the bad ending, yada yada yada, trying to figure out how to capture all of them. And then my second playthrough to get the last 2 trophies I needed literally took me a little over 2 hours, which most of that is honestly the pretty long cutscenes. I didn't realize it as my first playthrough because I'm just playing and I'm absorbing, but then as I'm just trying to speed through shit, there's certain actions you take through the story which require you to sit and actually, you can't speed through the text, so they're just going to talk through it. And all in all, there's like 45 minutes of complete dialogue you can't just skip through, which took up a good, obviously, portion of the time. So all in all, it took me 12 hours to play and platinum, and I enjoyed it. Will I go back to it? No. Would I recommend buying it at full price? If you like Pokemon Snap, I would say maybe. It's definitely, if you see it on sale, get it type game. I don't think I can recommend it at full price if it's a $70 title. I'm not sure how much they're charging, because the first month it was out, it was free on PlayStation Plus, so I just downloaded it. So if they're asking $70, no. Sorry, development team. I very much enjoyed your game, but it isn't worth $70. If it's like a $40 game, I would suggest it at that. And then, yes, if you see it on a crazy deal, like you see it's only like $10 for sure, it's a good little time. I do not regret my time spent in Bug Snacks. And other than that, I started my 4th playthrough of Persona. I'm playing my 3rd playthrough of the original Persona 5. I just found the treasure. I'm casually just running through little bits and bits by the day, because I'm just doing this playthrough because I want to platinum it. I was going to try to do it before Strikers comes out, but unless I buckle down and play nothing else, which is really hard right now because of the next game I've been playing, I'm not going to do that. But I will eventually do it because I want that platinum. But like you said, a lot of Smite, with and without you, because me and you are just casually having fun and going out there and doing crazy builds and having fun builds and just playing. And then on my off time when I get the chance, I've been doing ranked. And it is so fun and infuriating all at the same time, because it's such a thrill to have those comeback games that we had in ranked, but at the same time I also have those games where we might be able to make a comeback, but then there's just this one fucking asshole who refuses to play with us and just costs us the entire game. And then also rank is also fucking toxic as shit. Like, I had this little asshole earlier. He was my jungle. I was carry. My support dipped out to go do support things in mid lane with the other support on the opposite side. No problem. I got ganked 4 times by their jungle, 2 of which they tower dove to kill me. He didn't rotate once and then continued to would not stop talking shit and say I was trash for the entire game. But he did not rotate one fucking time. And I told him, I don't want to hear it, blah, 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 blah. And then I just ignored him. And I said, I'll hit a basic when you hit an ability, LOL. Just trying to be a little bit cheeky. He's like, bro, I'm in Masters. What are you, bronze? I'm only in gold. I'm not even that good of a player, right? Which is fine. But bro, I'm actually only in gold 5. Like, I'm not trying to sit here in front. There is no way on earth in the middle of the day, me as a gold player is playing with you, a master. Why you gotta sit here and try to front in front of the entire team and try to call shit? So I, of course, like a spooby, went on fucking Smite Guru, which if you don't know, because not a lot of people do, Smite tracks your progress. And Smite Guru goes directly off of their server. So you can watch someone in real time playing their game. He's only in Plat 5. Like, he is literally 1 tier above me. Like, I was literally there earlier in the day, and then I took a few losses and dropped back down to gold. So he's maybe 2 games up on me on wins, and is talking, like, the most shit and claimed to be in Masters, and I just thought it was cute. Like, why you want to talk shit, and you are better than me, technically? Do it, by all means, but why you gotta lie? And say you are not even the next tier up from what you are. He said he was in Masters. Bro, you got to get from Plat 5 to Diamond 5, and from Diamond 5 up into Masters. We're not talking like a little bit. Like, here's me at Gold, here's him at Plat. Now, he's saying he's all the way, hold on, let me turn, all the way over here in fucking Masters. We're talking like 1,000 more MMR than we are currently at. Like, we're talking like 100 wins. And when we're down here at like 15. Like, come on, bro. Come on, that shit like legitimately bothered me. I don't even know why it bothered me. That's why it bothered me, because I was playing with him like 4 times in a row, and that's why I had to check him out. That's what upset me. He's like, bro, I'm in Masters. You shouldn't, like, why? Like, what are you in bronze? Like, anyone who's smart enough knows, like, in anything ranked, they try to at least put you somewhere between. Like, you're either with people below you or a little bit above you. There is no way on God's green earth, unless I'm playing at 3 o'clock in the morning and no one else is playing, would I ever reach and see a master at the rank I'm at right now. Never. There's my rant, but I've been having fun with Smite also, if you can tell about it from my little rant right there.
It's rank in games gets weird, because I remember I used to play Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, I was fucking shit at the game, and I ended up in gold rank, and all my friends who are a lot better than me were in like silver, and I just fucking fucking flex on them while I get 0 kills every single game. Like, fuck you, I'm in gold. I'm better. Listen to me. When I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
And that's fine. Sometimes you get carried. And he might have got carried to plat. It's just because everyone else was trying to be nice. Like, I fucked up my build, but I was also getting ganked and he wasn't helping, and that upset me. But then I started switching up, and then I started doing damage. Like, real damage. And he was still talking shit. And we ended up losing the game. But everyone else is like, yo, bro, why are you bitching at him? You didn't show up, and he's at least trying, because he was Tsukiyomi in the jungle. Just running, like, their entire team was running it down mid. There's us four sitting there trying to defend the Phoenix, and he's in left lane pushing the tier 1 tower. It's like if not everyone knows MOBAs, so if you're fighting game aficionado, imagine getting your opponent to goddamn the magic pixel, and then just kind of running away from them, like in the corner while you're at full health, and then slowly like walking towards them while they're just punching you in the like. That's basically what he was doing. Like, he was throwing the game, and it was ridiculous. And it's over, and when we're done this, we're gonna go play, and I might have a good time because I'm not gonna have to fucking worry about ranked and mean people being mean because they're mean, and now I sound all sad, and I'm not, because I'm still, I think I actually have more MMR than him, which is crazy. So he probably got D ranked, which I love. But no, we don't think like that. I hope he does good, and I hope I see him in Masters, so I have a challenge and I can whoop his ass. Yeah, that's Smite. I love and absolutely hate that game all at the same time. It is so much fun and so breathtakingly infuriating. But that's how I spend my time. Some people, love it like me, and then other people think objectively it is the worst of the MOBAs out. And you know what? I think they're wrong. But there are other games
they're probably
that
right.
everybody believes are bad, objectively terrible games. And that is our topic of the show this week. We're going to sit here and tell you some of the games we also agree are bad. And you know what? I think I'll start with my first one. Which, once again, every game has somewhat of a following, and there are people who will tell you that this is an okay game. But, objectively, for the most part, the masses, critics, and myself agree that Mass Effect Andromeda is a bad game. Why? Simply put, it was unfinished. Just like everything else BioWare has attempted to do as of late. Hopefully this Mass Effect trilogy gets them back into form. Because, come on guys, you went from being some of the best game makers on the planet to just Andromeda.
I was actually thinking about downloading Andromeda to see if I wanted to put it on my list, but they copied Inquisition's exploration in it, and I just didn't have the time, even with 2 weeks, to just go through it.
That's craziness, because I loved Inquisition.
It took me a long, when I wasn't working and I had free time, Andromeda took me forever to beat, so.
Yeah, I didn't even play it. I was excited, and I was going facial glitches and stuff like that are fine with me. That's not what everyone was. Well, that's what a lot of people bitch about, but that's not what made it bad for me. Because Assassin's Creed hadn't had the best graphics. Fucking, oh my god. Bethesda, fucking open world Bethesda games, come on. Those games fucking poop even if you have a fucking 3080. Those games are not optimized well. But the gameplay just was bad. The story was fucking below mediocre. It looked bad. The whole as a package, it just wasn't what we've come to know BioWare and Mass Effect to be. They basically made a game that equals how people felt about the Mass Effect 3 ending. Just the ending, because the game itself was objectively good. Just most people didn't like the ending, but I digress. They basically just took how people felt about 3's ending and molded it into a physical game that you can play, and then threw it at you and said, hey, new Mass Effect. You like the ending of 3, right? Here you go, right? Everyone happy? We did good? No, BioWare. Bad. And why was it bad? I'm going to steal a little bit of thunder from you and go roll right in the next game, because BioWare doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with their team and has too many hands in like 18 different baskets, because another objectively bad game, even though I disagree because I enjoyed it, but it is bad, Anthem. How are you going to make
See,
18
I
giant
don't.
games?
I will blame BioWare for some part. Like 20, I blame EA for like 80% of both of those failing.
See, I agree. It is not just on BioWare, but at the same time, BioWare should have the wherewithal to fight EA on this. EA doesn't make DICE make 9 Battlefields at once. Why the fuck is BioWare, even right now, this is why I'm super worried. BioWare right now is apparently still working on Anthem 2.0, the Mass Effect trilogy remaster, a new Mass Effect, and a new Dragon Age. How the fuck do you have one studio split into 4 teams? 2, maybe. 4, ridiculous. You want to know why that's ridiculous? Because they were split into 2 before. And you know what we got? Anthem Vanilla and Mass Effect Andromeda. EA, if you haven't learned your lesson by letting these 2 poopers come out and forcing BioWare to do this, it's shame on both of them. And so I'm very,
Well,
very worried for all of that.
even
All of these
before
things.
those, even before those two, EA dropped quality like hard between Dragon Age. Dragon Age 2 is a fun game, but quality dropped really fast because EA didn't give them enough time to make 2 very like as good as the first Dragon Age.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Big
Kind of like
EA is
how
bad.
Bethesda didn't give Obsidian a lot of time for New Vegas, and then didn't give them bonuses because it got one lower than like 85 on some stupid review. Yeah, yeah, you know.
Big gaming's dumb. Well, let me rephrase. Certain companies are bad. Like EA's been under the fucking fire and hammer like for a long time. They fuck so much shit. How do you lose Disney? How do you lose a Star Wars property? How do you fuck up so bad? They're just like, no, thank you. We will not renew your contract. I don't even understand how they got the contract in the first place. They were not in a good spot when they signed that deal. I don't know what the fuck Disney was thinking, but
They did
anyway,
make like
Anthem.
one good game, like Fallen Order was under them.
Yeah, Fallen Order was a fan. I was about to say, I don't know what EA has against certain developers and then lets other developers seemingly do what the fuck they want. Like, Respawn in general is killing it. Between Apex and Fallen Order, I don't know. Maybe, I think it's because they were like, hey, I don't know how the gaming politics scene works and whatnot, but I have a really hard time believing that big companies can really get away with being like, hey, you're going to do what we want, or you're, bad, you'll be punished, and people just don't are like, well, then fuck you, we're out. Like, I really believe that Respawn was like, hey, we want to make this, but here's what we're going to do. And then EA is like, you know what? All right. And they left him alone. But then other, like BioWare, they're like, no, we bought you, acquired you, so you're going to give us this, or we're going to shut you down. And then they're like, oh shit, well, we actually have to. It's so weird. Like, you can sit here and speculate one way or the other, but EA is weird. As I said, it feels like Respawn has complete just do what you want. And then BioWare is like under the whip. It's craziness. That was a. Let's spin it all the way back to the fact that Anthem is also a very bad game objectively. I very much enjoyed it, but the original and period, because they haven't released 2.0 or any real major updates, is a bad game. As what it's supposed to be, games as a service. The flying feels nice, the abilities are pretty cool, and the actual like color schemes that you can do, like how you manage the color wheel, is cool. Other than that, the world is pretty but empty. very generic green rocks. The enemies all basically look the same for the most part. The weapons are literally the same. When you get an exotic gun in, Destiny and hell, even in Division now at this point, they look radically different. Like Division, not so much because it's a realistic shooter, but it's still like has a cool chain hanging off and some smoke on it, and it has biohazard symbol instead of just the plain old military grade looking LMG. You got a fancier looking LMG, and then Destiny, them motherfuckers have fucking green lasers shooting out the ass end with a
I'm
blue
gonna
fire shooting out
send you.
that way.
I'm gonna send you a fucking picture of what I think of fucking Destiny exotics.
But regardless, when you see an exotic in those games, you'd be like, oh shit, that motherfucker has something cool. The exotics in Anthem literally look like a green tier gun. You can get it and they can actually be the same fucking gun. It's just the legendary actually does something cool. Like the effects are awesome. It'll shoot 9 grenades if you get a kill. You should get a headshot and it shoots 9 grenades out of that dude's body, and if those get a kill, then all those explode. Like they have exotic effects, they just look like shit. Well,
I don't
in a
care
game
how
where you want,
unprofessional this is.
in a game where
This is how I feel about fucking
I can. Ridiculous. I can't even fucking do it right. Anyway, hell, even Apex, you at least have legendary skins that make the gun look cool. When you get something badass, you want people to see it. That's just how games are intrinsically, especially looter shooters. I worked real hard to get this thing. I did a specific challenge. I want people to know I got this cool fucking thing, and they don't see it, and that's super fucking dumb. And the same concept goes into the fact that there were count them, 3 different pieces of gear for each part of your body. So all in all, there were 3 different armor sets you could have to make your, I forget, javelin look different. That's not cool. Like, we're talking about the fact in Destiny, in the first area of vanilla Destiny 1, you could get like 6 helmets that at least all look different. Even if they were useless and dumb or even ugly, like to at least give me some choice. It's no. Everybody looked the fucking same. If you were a wizard or whatever the version of the wizard I called Lightning Down, almost everybody else looked the same because one of those was locked behind the legendary edition. So basically pre-order the $80 version and you could get a new suit of armor, which makes you look, it doesn't matter. So for the most part, there are only 2 different ways you could look. We're talking about a $60 full price game, and the story was beyond mediocre. Go to a planet, humans are there, bad shit happens on planet, hide behind a wall, send robot people to try to help and make sure the people out there are fine, and bring in supplies.
See, unlike Anthem, I feel like Andromeda's story actually had potential, but Anthem just really felt like they didn't even try.
No, it didn't. And the bad part is, it was interesting enough in the fact that it kept you going, and then the mediocrity just stopped. Like the whole point of the whole shebang of what made it so bad is it was just so short. Like casually playing with my wife, and Jim, we got through the whole story in like 2 days. And then, but the bad part is there's nothing new after. There was no end game. Destiny, you could go do the raid. You could go do the harder versions of the levels. Like, there wasn't even that. Like, you could go back and play those missions, but nothing changed about them. There was no modifiers. Like, it was.
Another fun Anthem fact is when it released, if you at like end game you do more damage with a level 1 weapon than like end game gear. because of how they fucked up scaling.
Yes, and it was all bad. It was just all bad, sadly. Because as I said, I enjoyed it. The combat and the gameplay was actually fun. It was a fun game. It just wasn't enough, and what was there wasn't up to snuff. If I didn't, I learned my lesson. You know, I learned my lesson not to trust these shits. So there's a reason why I don't have Avengers. You can thank Anthem for that, and Avengers is basically in the same boat in my opinion at the moment, for the most part. But those are my two right off rip. Damn it, BioWare, please, please, please don't fuck up this remaster. I don't know how you would. You just have to make it prettier. But if EA has their hand in this, as Kawhi, like to say, this might be terrible too. I don't know how you fuck up just a remaster because they're not like remaking it. But EA will probably force something into it, like you have to pay to change your eyes or something. I don't know. You can't progress to Mass Effect 2 from 1 with your character unless you give them $1.50
So,
and your right toe.
so I actually don't really. I didn't know which one to start off on, really, until you point out the remaster again. Because what's been a point of interest in the news, because BioWare said they're removing the focus on like some cutscenes and stuff that showed some of the characters' ass, and I see a lot of talk online about being censorship. So I figured that'd be a good point to jump into one of the games I put on my list that I think actually is just a bad game because of its censorship, which is the Fairy Tale video game, and it's the shortest one I have on this because it was marketed as what was supposed to be very close to the anime. Like, if you really like the anime, you really like it. It'd have all the cheesy bullshit and all the whatever. But
The fan
day
service and
one,
whatnot.
yeah, day one on release, they censored day one patch on Fairy Tale. Censored the panty shots and other stuff, which I don't really care about, but it was how they advertised the game. And there is also no real attempt to explain the settings or character relationships, and some characters don't even get models, and God was talking down from the sky. So just like a really small one I wanted to get out of the way because it mentioned censorship. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, a little bit of news. Are you going to watch the Nintendo Direct tomorrow?
I will. No, it's at 2 p.m. for us, right? Shit,
I don't
maybe
know
it's.
what time it is, but
I will watch it at some point tomorrow, yes. If it's during the day, I will attempt to watch it live, but even if I can't watch it live, I will have watched it before tomorrow's stream. But yes, I do plan on watching it, yes. Did they say what it's about, or is it just a mystery, the fact that they're just doing it?
50 minutes. It's going to be 50 minutes long or something, and it's what's going to be coming in 2021.
Ooh, interesting. Ooh, quick prediction. I hope we hear something about the Pokemon remakes, because at this point, it's like Nintendo's worst kept secret. And I'm betting on either Bayonetta 3 or Legend of Zelda, but not both. We're getting one of the
Uh,
two.
some people on Twitter are expecting other Smash character to be revealed.
Probably. It's been enough time. Who was just announced? It wasn't
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth. And that
So a
was
lot of people want it to be
Christmas.
Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, works for me. But
But
I.
so
Oh, go
I,
ahead.
I want to jump to another one since you did like to, and it's another anime game that I have a bit more to talk about is Jump Force.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Something that's actually really you could argue the Fairy Tale game isn't objectively bad. You'd be wrong, but Jump Force is just shit all around.
I don't know
Like
anybody who plays that game unless it's literally for the meme.
even like just let's start with the appearance of the game. The aesthetics and design choices are so fucking bad.
Just weird.
There's like one cutscene where Freeze is there, and instead of animating like flying away, his character just hovers out of shot in "my people need me" fashion. The load times were really fucking bad when I played it.
Probably still are.
I don't, I don't know how like that has changed at all. The battle mechanics were really fucking broken, and like and if you played through the campaign, the characters that want you to fight against were just obnoxiously overpowered, and they had broken attack mechanics. Like, it isn't fun to be playing a fighting game where a boss can just like two-shot you and you need to be near perfect for 10 minutes to like win, and it's not even the final boss.
That sounds fucking tedious.
Like, in Fighter Z, I never felt like when I was playing through that, I never felt like it was too hard or too broken. Like, yeah, at one point in like the story, the characters were doing like more damage to me, but it's always manageable.
Hmm.
But like, I just got to a point where if I wasn't perfect dodging all the time, because the enemies will perfect dodge most of the time, so if they do that, you're just fucked. I only cheesed through some of the boss battles because I had Yugi's draw ability, so I just hope I get Swords or Revealing Light to stop them from fucking moving constantly, and that's all I'd spam. And sometimes it will work. And if you have to like use one ability to only get through shit, it's not good.
That's not a fun game. That does not sound like a good time at all. Like, not even a little bit. I didn't buy the game because
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it. In my soul, I knew that shit was going to be bad. Just when they showed it, I'm like, this isn't looking pretty, one. So we'll wait for the gameplay. Because I was hoping that it was just ugly, and then they're like, they seen the success of fighters, and was like, let's do that, but with Jump Force, period. Like with Shonen Jump characters, right? And no, then they said, no, it's going to be arena. I was like, bro, those ain't doing so hot. Like, unless you're Naruto, you need to leave this shit alone. Oh,
This
they
this
did it
this
anyway. Oh,
I wanted this is a game I added it to my list because I know it's really bad. Uh, I literally refuse to re-download it to just like see if anything has gotten better. It left
no.
that much of an emotional scar on me. I got it for free, and I so feel like I wasted money on it.
That gets me every time you say that shit. And it's bad too, because if you, I don't think I've ever said this on stream, or not stream, but on the podcast. If you didn't know, I started my Twitch, career, if you will, streaming with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, that was my big thing. That's how I met Kawhi and a lot of my concurrent followers and people who come in and check me out. I very much love Yu-Gi-Oh. I've loved it ever since I came to the United States. I fell off for a little bit, as everyone does. Got back into it, and I still play it occasionally here and there. And Kaiba is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. He's a smug, arrogant twat who I absolutely love, right? And even his inclusion in this game did not get me to do it. Like,
I did play Kaiba when like they released some. I was like, oh, this is neat, and then I re-deleted the game.
yeah, that's
Like
terrible.
I played through his animations just to see it.
Like,
But
honestly, oh,
speaking of another fun Yu-Gi-Oh fact, they're releasing a $1,000 silver Blue Eyes card that people will be able to buy. It's literally a Blue Eyes made out of card made out of like silver, and you can get it for like $1,000.
that's actually not too bad. I wouldn't do it, but like a pure silver, like full size card, that's a lot of fucking silver. That's actually kind of cheap if it's real silver, like sterling silver. That's actually not too
No,
bad.
it's yeah, it's gonna be like real.
That's cool.
Like
That
it
is
looked
cool.
really nice. So yeah.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. Like I thought you like it was like an actual like
No,
silver
it's
blue eyes
made
white
out
dragon.
of silver.
Okay, that's cool. I'll accept that. That's not nearly as bad. I mean, people are out here spending fucking literally like $2,000 to build a deck, you know, for just
I
for
made a
tournament
joke.
play. So,
That's what my tax return's going to.
but yeah, only anime character I like more than him is Vegeta, but he's in so much shit, like it doesn't even matter. But this is like the first time you can actually be Kaiba in like damn near anything that isn't, you know. Whoa, let me rephrase. When I heard he was coming, I was like, ooh, maybe I should pick it up. But then they released more gameplay, and I was like, fuck no. So that should tell you. One of my favorite characters of all time isn't enough to get me to play a shit ass game, and then no one else is also playing it. It's an objectively shit game. And I just want to throw these out here because you saying this made me reel back and throw every anime battle arena game that isn't Naruto. I'm just gonna say it. My Hero 1 Justice was very mediocre. I'm surprised it got a sequel. Some people still play it, but
I play the sequel every now and then. So
it's still objectively bad compared to the only one that's relevant, which is Naruto Ultimate Storm
it's
7
bad.
Boruto's
It's
next
like you
room.
could say it's like bad compared to Naruto, but it's like a fucking masterpiece compared to Jump Force. So
True. But like all I don't know why they don't jump
I
on
don't
the
think
other bandwagon.
I don't think the My Hero games are bad enough to be in the objectively bad
I'll give you that.
category.
Those ones aren't, but the Kill La Kill and sadly enough the One Punch Man games are.
I almost bought the Kill la Kill game because it was on sale. Actually,
Yeah, it's bad. And so is One Punch Man. The hero nobody knows, terrible.
I
Terrible.
did buy that. It is not on my list because I haven't played it enough, but I
Okay.
don't think it's good enough to play it at all. So
There you go. So it's objective.
we'll see how it goes.
I really wish they would just get their shit together and just. I don't even need like a fighters out. Like let NRS weirdly enough, like let NetherRealm make an anime game for you. Let it play like the Mortal Kombat's / Injustices. Give ArcSys more. Hell, let Capcom use your property. Just give it to real fighting game companies. These arena fighters need to go the way of the dodo.
Fuck Capcom.
You know what I mean, though. SNK, whoever you want. Just stop the arena fighters. Just give us real fighting games. Real fighting games, please. These characters are beloved, and you're pooping on them with your bad mechanics. But very well. Do you have another one you want to go into? Since I did two in a row, might will let you get another one
I
in.
mean,
That,
yeah, I
those
can
don't
hop in a
count.
third one. Uh, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered.
It got a
Wow.
remaster?
Yeah.
When did I miss that?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's so bad no one fucking talked about it
That's crazy.
afterwards.
That's crazy because I played Crystal, the original one, back on the GameCube and enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, the original one is great. The remaster isn't.
Oh no! What did they? I'm very much intrigued now because I haven't heard about this at all. Which means it has to be bad. Oh no!
So, I this is more something that like my roommate Moogle was really disappointed about because if you play Crystal Chronicles, you know you can play it with multiple people, right? And at the end of each thing, you'd all get like a letter or something from whatever. Uh, you played it, so I'm just like wondering if I'm on the right track. You'd all get something if you're like playing with people.
Yeah, somewhere along that.
Except only the host would get it, and the people you're playing with would get nothing. So that's just one thing.
That sucks.
Really frequent and long load times for some reason.
What doesn't nowadays? Like it's terrible.
Uh, Bonus dungeons and bosses were just like swapped of like just swaps of already existing assets. Absurdly priced DLC. no local
Ridiculous.
co-op, and like I said, really bad designed online co-op,
Just what's the
and
point?
overly repetitive and just like boring gameplay.
Yeah, sounds about right. No, that rolls right into my next one because this is a story of redemption, but from the same fucking people, Square Enix. Who do you know? Final Fantasy 14 Vanilla. What is there to say? It came out and was just fucking abysmally terrible. No end game, no real story, character progression was shit. Everything, just literally everything was shit. Like, there's nothing more to be said. But on the flip side, one of the objectively worst MMORPGs ever to release is now arguably the second most highly regarded MMORPGs of all time. Well, maybe not of all time, but currently. Like, I'm not sure. I
Was
haven't
the only
checked.
one that's played more is like what, World of Warcraft?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure WoW is still the only thing bigger, and I'm not even sure if it is at this point. Like, I'd have to actually check numbers, but I know it's close, and that's a crazy thing to say because WoW is what, 12 years old,
A million years old.
a million years old at this point. But anyway, regardless, a great story of redemption. Well, I think it was Shadowbringer that came out, completely changed the game, overhauled it, and now it's like 50 billion people play it. Good on you for that one. So you're objectively very, 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 very bad game is now very, 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 very good and highly beloved with another expansion coming out in like a week or some shit like that. Like the fact that they turned that around is like the only thing even comparable to that in like recent memory is the No Man's Sky turnaround, which I'm not gonna say, but I lumped those basically. And I just wanted to mention at the same time. Like both of them objectively bad when they came out, overpromised what they were going to be, were shit, and here 3 years later, 4 or 5 years later, for Final Fantasy are two of the best games for what they are that have come out in a long time. You know, if you like space exploration, go play No Man's Sky. That's what people will tell you. Hey, it's a good one. Go do it. You want a good MMORPG? They're either going to tell you to go play WoW, and if you like more, a little more actiony, go play Final Fantasy. So hey, good on you. You were objectively bad, and now you're objectively great. That's it for that.
My next one is the most recent game on my list, and it's Cyberpunk 2077. I was gonna save it for last, but I really just want to talk about it now. It's one of the ones I actually re-downloaded to like just play a bit of. And like just starting off, like on release, it was basically unplayable on its target consoles. And then like even on the next gen, it wasn't that good.
Tell you from experience, I own PS5, and
Yeah,
it ain't better.
it had so many technical issues from graphical glitches to game-breaking bugs. The user interface is so fucking weird. Stop putting like fucking the PC style interfaces on console games. Like if I have to move like a fucking this is my biggest problem like games like BO4. If I have to move like some ring around the screen to like edit my weapons and stuff instead of just like
Clicking on my
backwards.
pad to go
Yeah.
over, yeah,
Yeah.
it's tedious by a lot.
It's
I'm right
just
there with you.
bad design.
Yeah.
I don't know how the male V is, but the female V is just very emotionless and monotone. And sometimes it feels like Keanu Reeves doesn't actually care and doesn't want to be there.
uh, from what I've seen, Keanu's been like the one like bright part. But once again, for those of you been here for a while, I haven't gotten any farther in Cyberpunk. I was dead set on being done with that game. Like beating it and hoping that the game was out and I was going back and doing all the side quests and I was going to try to get the platinum and At this point, I enjoyed what I've seen so far. It crashed on me like 3 more times since then. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it on the shelf, delete it off the hard drive, and wait for 3, 4 patches, and hopefully it'll be one of those like No Man's Sky. 6 months to a year from now, hopefully, like, hey, remember Cyberpunk, that game that was shit? Well, guess what? It's fantastic. It's everything they promised. You haven't picked it up, you should go do it now. And if you already do, we suggest you re-download it, and then hopefully I can pick it up and be like, hey, this is absolutely fucking fantastic. I'm glad I waited. But at the moment, just I agree with everything he said. Between
Also, the melee mechanics are like
just boo
kind of
boo,
bad. Yeah,
not
and
even kind of,
also
they're
it
bad.
has the worst AI since Alien versus Predator Colonial Marines or whatever that game's called.
That's one of my games, and I'll just say it right now. I won't take any time from him away from him. It is just objectively one of the worst games of all time. It's just bad.
So is it on your list?
Yes, Alien Colonial Marines. I was not a dope who picked it up, but one of
You
my
can
friends
you can
were.
use it to jump you can use it to jump into this because that's all I had to say about Cyberpunk.
Oh, I wasn't done with Cyberpunk. I'd run it real back. Cyberpunk, I agree with everything said. Just everything's bad. Story's all
I,
right. Characters are all
I
right.
actually really
The
like the story. It's the
game is
only part.
broken.
The story is the only part. It's like the only reason I kept playing it to
Exactly.
like finish.
Story, from what I've seen, is good. He likes it, and I assume I will too. CD knows I didn't fuck that up at least, but game breaks constantly, like in world. Game crashes constantly. It surprisingly has, because it's not optimized. That's why it's not surprising. But abysmal loading times on a PS5. Like, I know it's elitist and not everyone has it to say, but at this point, I've become accustomed, you know, to my shit being faster, and the fact that it isn't, is kind of upsetting, and that's like heartbreaking. Like when I mean kind of, I mean I've recently. Oh, I've been playing a lot of Division 2 for just throwing that back there, having a lot of fun with my wife. Anyway, I load in legitimately 10 to 15 seconds faster than my wife and my friend Jim, who I play with. And I'm literally stepping out of the elevator, turning, and waiting for them to load in to the next part of what we're doing.
Also, in Smite, you end up in like picking character, then like the actual thing first. You can see what
Yeah.
you are while I'm still on the loading screen.
Yeah, like it's crazy that that's where we are in the world, but at the same time, you haven't optimized it even enough to give me like a few. Like I guarantee I'm faster than what Kawhi is waiting through, but it's still really fucking long for a broken and not as pretty as you would think ass game. You know, like Last of Us loads faster than that game, and Last of Us is very well a lot
I've
prettier.
yet to mention that like even when I re-downloaded it today after a bunch of patches, the frames were still awful.
Oh no.
It's still not like a perfect set frame.
Come on, CD Projekt Red. I'm pulling for you guys. You got punched in the dick quite a few times with this game, and I'm pulling for you to make a comeback. You had such a giant success with Witcher, which I know Kawhi you don't really like. It's fine. I loved it.
I like the first Witcher.
You know, I'm talking about Witcher 3, the only good one. I mean, the only one I played, so I can't call the. Regardless, come on, CD, do it for me. I want this to be good. I want to play it. You have something here. You know, bring it home. And all the way back to Clone Marines, I'm not going to say much. It's shit. It's just a shit game. Everyone knows it. If you know anything about bad games, you know Colonial Marines. Came out, fucking. It's Cyberpunk, but in space with aliens, and worse. No story. AI is. You know what is, if you don't know what a xenomorph is, go watch the movie Alien, Alien 2, Alien Extinction, Aliens, and Alien vs Predator, whatever. They're creepy little, not little, they're creepy big black things that crawl around and stab you and bleed acid and shit. Well, in the game, they just kind of like go up on the ceiling and spin in a circle for a while, and then they look at you like they're gonna attack, right, right, and then they spin again.
It was even funnier about that because like someone found the error in the code and like corrected it, and then like it made the game still shit, but at least the AI they like made the AI functioning.
At
It's
least you could
really funny.
play.
It's funny. It all came down to like a coding error that never got fixed for that.
It's just, it's a bad game. It's a bad game. Plain and simple. We can just move on from there. Just don't pick it up. Free is not enough for you to play the game. If someone walked up on the street and handed you a copy, you say, please, God, no. Thank you for your time, and walk away. Okay? It's a bad game. I only have one more. So I don't know if you have more than that, or if you want to keep going. If
I
you have
have
anything to
I
say.
have two I have two more, but two of them kind of fit together.
Okay.
Um, so my two that kind of fit together, I like because they fit together for like the reason. The first one on this like thing is Detroit Become Human,
Hmm.
and I don't care if people think it's good. David Cage can suck my balls.
Terrible.
Uh,
Go
so
ahead and, excuse me. I don't want to interrupt. I can still hear you, but I need to go make a bottle. He woke up. So continue with this one and then go on to your next one. And I will be back shortly.
so my problem with Detroit Become Human compared to the other games he's done is like completely uninteresting characters that don't engage with the player at all. A predictable story with like extremely oversaturated themes, and just like a fucking. I get they're all androids, so maybe they're not supposed to be emotional, but for fuck's sake, it just looks bad on purpose, and it's just really heavy-handed politics that just bores. And then the other game I just wanted to attach to that because a game just also his Life is Strange too. Like another game, extremely heavy-handed, like politics, especially even like the other Life is Strange was, pretty heavy-handed, but Life is Strange too makes it feel like it's just fucking slapping you on the face with a fish. And that's another problem with Detroit Become Human is just like extreme heavy-handed politics. It's like we get it, you're trying to be deep, and then Life is Strange you just had also lip syncing problems, and for a walking simulator, it got a lot of frame rate drops. I don't really have much to say about that. I don't spoil anything because they're literally just story games and not gameplay games. But like comparing like Detroit Become Human to the other games, like Beyond Two Souls is pretty enjoyable. It actually had like characters you can relate to. Uh, Heavy Rain was just fucking hilarious for like the memes, but
It's crazy because
Detroit Become Human was just like
honestly, both those games are really beloved by, you know, most people. So objectively, they're not bad. Actually, you know what? Detroit Become Human is right there. I would give you objectively mediocre.
I fucking uh, like I don't care. That's why I wanted to attach Life is Strange 2 onto it. Detroit Become Human for like objectively bad because I just have the same problems with it really.
Fair enough. Both of which are, by they have. I know Life is Strange 2 for sure. A lot of people enjoyed. Whereas I know you really, really didn't like it for just how the direction they took with it, which is fine. But
They picked it back up with Tell Me Why or Tell Us Why or what it was called. That was one of my games of the year for last year.
yeah, I remember. But yeah, it's craziness, craziness. I'm actually surprised you put those both on there. was not expecting it. Like, I kind of expected Life is Strange 2 because I know how much it disappointed you that game wasn't what you were hoping for, but it's
Yeah,
no
but
trouble.
I will say enough people enjoyed it where it had like some qualities, but
fair enough. Fair enough.
that's why I wanted to attach it to something I actually think is objectively terrible.
I'll take it. I'll take
Since
it.
they're both like the same genre, basically.
Walking simulators, walking story simulators.
Because it's not Slender. I would have enjoyed it more, probably.
Terrible. So on to my final and the piece de resistance. Objectively, one of the worst games of all time.
Persona 5.
Persona 5. You are correct. That game is complete shit. The style is trash. I want a refund.
The soundtrack's bad.
The soundtrack's bad. I'm not actually trying to go for the platinum right now. I'm actually going through and marking all the things I hate about it. With my 300 hours played, and just what a waste of my life. No. For real though, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Just
No matter what game you
bad.
talk about in Sonic wise, it won't be worse than the Shadow the Hedgehog game, so
But it is. That's the bad part. This is the only one that's worse than the Shadow game. Okay? It introduced and gave us Silver the Hedgehog. A terrible character. Terrible. The game was broken on almost every level. And of course, it gave us the infamous hedgehog on girl fantasy.
if anyone in the audience ever gets some free time, type their first name and then the hedgehog after it and see what pops up in Google Images.
Please don't.
You'll
Don't do the thing. It's a trap for real. It can only end terribly. Nothing
like
good.
for
will come of
example, for you, I type in O'Neill the Hedgehog.
this. Oh god. I want no part of this. Okay.
No, continue talking about it
Okay.
while you get this going.
Absolutely terrible. Anyway, it's just a bad game. Like legit, objectively and legitimately. It crashed constantly. You couldn't stay on course no matter if you couldn't walk at a snail's pace and keep yourself on track. You could just randomly just fall through the world. You'd go to target an enemy and go to hit them and just go flying off into the distance. It made no sense. The game was just
This was a
you
mistake.
think Cyberpunk is a broken game? Go play Sonic 06, and guess what? They couldn't and can't patch that game. You can still go attempt to find a copy of it and be sad for yourself. It is just abysmal. And as I said previously, but I'll say it again, it gave us Sonic kissing a girl, and that's just weird. On every fucking level. Just weird. Or, no, it was a girl kissing... She kissed Sonic to resurrect him, right? Because he died, or... It doesn't matter. Humans should not kiss anthropomorphic animals. It's just weird. Because it wasn't like a, Looney Tunes haha kiss, everyone's goofy. Like, it was just serious, like a kiss I would kiss my wife, and that's just gross. Just, ew. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I'm getting to third base tonight.
I don't like the game. I don't like shit about Sonic 06. It can go to hell and die and stay there. And then I said I wouldn't bring it up, but I have to. And I will literally only say its name. And that is all that has to be said. Superman 64.
So, I actually have one left. My worst game of all time that I've ever played of all time, ever. Clay Fighters 60. No, I'm kidding. Clay Fighters. I will say, if you have a Nintendo 64, play Clay Fighters 63.
You're
Whatever the fuck it
goddamn
was.
right you play that. It's just Clay Fighters.
Yeah, this is really good.
It's a real good game. Oh, we were about to fight. You don't disrespect Clay Fighters in my house. Fantastic game.
I made Earthworm Jim.
Yo, who else would you pick?
The
Fat Santa?
snowman on the front.
No, Snowman wasn't bad. Killer Frost or
But
Jack Frost, but
yeah. The Caligula Effect Overdose is probably the worst game I ever played, and I
never
didn't
even
remember.
heard of it,
Yeah,
and it sounds gross.
I didn't remember why, and I re-downloaded it, and I like wondered why I had the music and the sound down to 0, and that's probably not a good sign. It has the most obnoxious music I've ever heard, and apparently it made me mute the fucking game because I turned that shit back down real quick.
I'm sorry, that's just so damn. You know it's not a good sign when you have everything at 0. Oh wow, what
The
is it?
story,
What is it?
just like look it up. I think it's just like someone tried to do a Persona ripoff.
I don't want to type that into my fucking Google because that just sounds gross. It's something that I like. My wife would go to use my computer and be like, "What the fuck is a Caligula effect? What do you have? I don't need that in my life." Nope.
The story was really boring, and none of the characters were that likable. Maybe it got better later, but I'm not
Now
putting the
with
time into it.
now with the name
The
like you.
combat system wasn't that bad, but just wasted because like I never really had a battle that lasted very long.
Okay. Fair
But
enough.
it's literally just at the worst of all time, just off the music alone, and then everything else being not good about it just kind of added it to that. Have you
Shame
ever
on you,
like
Caligula
had to
effect.
mute like a fucking the music in the game before? I've never heard something that bad in my life.
No, I would have to give you that has to be one of the worst games ever then too, because legitimately I've never had to do that. Not once. Never. I was like, oh god, this is so bad. I have to turn it. I'd be like, all right, I'm tired of hearing this. Let me turn it down so it's not so like persistent in my ear. But nothing's ever like, ooh no, ooh, turn that all the way down. No, no. I've never had that. That sounds terrible. That sounds like a bad time. Get it? It sounds like a bad time. Dad jokes. That's what you're all here for, right? Am I right? Probably not, but that's fine. Yeah. I will look up this Caligula
Actually,
effect.
I'm actually typing in right now because I wanna see what the reviews of it got.
Oh, excuse me.
If this shit is not fucking loading. Oh, there we go.
But I say not even the internet wants to remember.
60% on Metacritic. So like,
More than half the people who played
oh
it think it went
no, this
complete shit.
person said 10 out of 10 if you took the Persona games and amped them up to an even better place. So that one guy really likes it. That guy thinks it's better than Persona 5. So, okay, so the Vita score is 58 out of 100, PS4 is 64 out of 100, Nintendo Switch is 60 out of 100. Destructoid gave it a 4 out of 10.
Spell this shit for me.
The Caligula, then the effect. It's a Vita game. Maybe that's why it's bad. Everything on Vita was bad.
The
Didn't Last of
Caligula
Us 2 have a
effect.
PS Vita like cameo in it?
Yes, it did.
Which made it the most unrealistic game ever because there's no way would someone be playing a fucking PS Vita even in the apocalypse, especially if the PSP is an option.
Get the fuck out of here. Vita wasn't that bad.
The PSP was a lot better.
Hey, Vita was a beautiful machine, okay? Ahead of its time. Ahead of its time.
The PSP was ahead of its time. The Vita
It literally
was just
looks
there.
like monochrome Persona.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a Persona ripoff,
Very
and
well.
I don't even like Persona that much.
Yes, we know. We know. But there we go. those are our objectively bad games. Agree or disagree, it's up to you. But for the upcoming week, I make no promises. Previous statements where I would have liked to have started and beaten XCOM 2 before Persona 5 Strikers comes out. That is not going to happen considering it comes out next week. Like, legitimately, I think a week from now, less. 6 days from now. It comes out the 23rd. And it's the same day as the new God for Smite that comes out. And before that, starting here in just a few hours, is the Guilty Gear Strive open beta. I'm going to be playing the fuck out of that. And then, just regular things. So XCOM 2 will be after Persona 5 Strikers if you're interested in that. That's really about it. I don't have any other crazy news, nothing else going on, no other games planned. It's going to be Guilty Gear Strive beta, probably for the next few nights streams. And then Smite until Persona 5 Striker comes out. A few nights of that, because I hear it's not super long, 30, 40 hours max, and that's if you're trying to do like everything, which, if as good as it seems, we will be. And then we'll do XCOM before Guilty Gear Strive actually drops, because I don't think anything else is coming out in the near future.
Oh wait, I have one prediction for the direct tomorrow, and that's Fire Emblem 3 House of the Warriors.
I hope something. You better hope for something, because didn't you only get like one DLC out of your like pack for 3 houses?
Yeah, season pass only gave Ashen Wolves.
That's boo-boo. Hopefully you get something better than that. But thanks for joining us. If you're new here, hit that follow button if you're watching live. If you're new here on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Give it a like and a comment, or a dislike and a comment. Let us know what you didn't like. And if you did, please let us know what you did like. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, any other kind of podcast platform besides Google Play, obviously, I don't know why I keep calling Google Play. You're not listening, Google, because why? I'm not there because I can't fucking figure it out. This URL bullshit is really pissing me off. I've been checking too. It just doesn't seem
Google
to
sucks.
like working.
Go Bing.
Anyway, I digress. Thank you all so much. You can find me here on twitch.tv/dadofwar.com if you're watching live. If you're watching, obviously, the VOD of this, it's on YouTube. If you're listening, you can go watch the video on either youtube.com/dadofwar or my archived videos on Twitch at twitch.tv/dadofwar. And if you're interested in anything I have to say, because I'm getting better at it, throughout the days and weeks, you can follow me on Twitter at dadofwar. All of the ofs are with zeros. You probably know it if you're an actual concurrent viewer by now, because I say it every time, but also if you're searching for me, it comes up as a 0. So, and where can they find you, Kawhi, besides at twitch.tv/KawhiBoyGirl?
On Twitter at Pokemon Pinball Sucks.
Did you actually make it?
No. I forgot.
Now you have to. But to find out if you did or not, gotta tune in next week. Ladies and gents, thanks for chilling with us, and we will see you later. Deuces.